Welcome to a special broadcast of the Farm Show. And it's such a pleasure to bring in via satellite Doug Cramer from Regina, Saskatchewan. Doug, tell me what you and your wife Kelly do for a living.
Well, Harry, we've developed a trade show management company. We do our own trade show in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, and we also run different events for other organizations. And recently we've taken on the challenge of developing Manitoba Farm Fest Outdoor Ag Show in Winnipeg.
And I understand, having followed you, I've never met you until just a few weeks ago, but you've got a pretty good track record. So you're not just coming to Manitoba to try and start something. You've proven that you can do these things, and maybe this thing will be a little bit bigger and better. But tell me, what is Farm Fest Manitoba?
Well, we've envisioned Farm Fest Manitoba to be a 200 exhibit outdoor farm trade show highlighting heavy equipment, agriculture on a whole, as far as Manitoba goes, all the way from livestock production to agriculture production and processing, as well as farm equipment manufacturing. We're overwhelmed with Manitoba and the diversity and diversification of all the industries, and we think it's just a natural place to bring everybody together and talk about innovations in agriculture and new technology and ag policy, and put it all together in a 3-day show.
So when you talk about an expo, looking at your literature and your information, you're talking about inside and outside exhibits, and will you have a place where there will be kind of like an arena or a hall where you're going to have speakers and give lectures and those kinds of things?
We right now we have about 20,000 square feet under a tent, which will be an indoor exhibitor pavilion. As well, we've got approximately 30,000 square feet under a tent, which is going to be called our Ag Education Center, and we're going to have guest speakers talking on things like mental health and agriculture. We've got some people lined up to come and talk about dairy herd management, and we're talking to other groups on coming in and talking about ag policy and what's going on with the new policies and all the hot topics of what will be 2019.
And I think you and I talked about this before when we got together, that I know and you know that farmers in today's agricultural world, they used to be able to come to these things and look for some social activity, learn a little bit and have some fun and some drinks. But what I know now from the younger farmers, they still like to do all those things, but they also like to have answers.
Well, and that's certainly the ag business, and the young up-and-comers are all looking to be coming to a show, finding out about new technology, and our buzzword for the show will be that ag business is taking center stage.
What or who do you want to see involved from one end of the spectrum to the other?
Well, I guess from the producer's standpoint, we're going to have decision makers there, farm managers. We're going to have farm workers attending the show, as well as the farm managers. They're always looking for new ideas and to see what's going on in innovation, new equipment. As far as exhibitors, we've had a huge interest from the Manitoba equipment manufacturing companies. That's been our biggest, quickest contact, and we've had several groups just even over the weekend sign up to be exhibitors because they want to bring their new manufacturing business to the forefront and get into a venue where they can meet several thousand people over a couple of days.
When you look at the geographical layout, it isn't just where farmers are going to kick tires and talk to salespeople. They're going to see equipment at work.
Well, definitely, we've got about 110 ag acres of agriculture land, which is right beside the Red River X where the show is going to be. So we have the ability to have infield demos, which will be tied in with the Farm Fest Manitoba research farm. So when it comes to the large equipment, you'll see it in action.
And, people will ask me, they will ask you, and I'm sure they have asked you, why another farm show? And I'm not here to say we shouldn't have it. I just want you to tell our viewers why.
Well, I just think that we look at Manitoba as a huge area of opportunity for a farm show, outdoor setting where you can actually see equipment run. You can see crop plots being grown in one area. The diversification of the agriculture sector in Manitoba, like I said earlier, whether it's turkey production, hog production, dairy cattle, farm machinery manufacturing, and of course we've got vegetable growers, corn growers, potato growers, the processing industry in Manitoba is becoming a huge sector as well, and that's not just a provincial, national level. That is now becoming an international scene where people from all across the world are coming to Manitoba, investing money, research, and putting bricks and mortar on the ground to further develop the ag sector in Manitoba.
You talked about the sponsorship, and obviously very important to have good sponsorships and to have consistent sponsorships. So how far and wide do you want to go with that?
Well, the sponsorships, we haven't done a lot of work on that part of it yet, but we have had some local interest as well as international interest with the large fertilizer companies in the world. They always want to have their name associated with a big show and support agriculture. On the flip side of the sponsorship, we do always have charities involved with our events, and right now the big winners at Farm Fest Manitoba, we're involved with Stars Air Ambulance. I'm a University of Manitoba graduate, so we're working with the Department of the School of Agriculture at the U of M to put a bursary and scholarship program together. Also, a charity that's near and dear to us is the Kids Health Phone. They're also going to be one of the charity recipients from the fundraising efforts of the show.
Tell me a little bit more about Doug and Kelly and the work that you do. I know you have that expo in Swift Current, but you're involved in different things.
The expo in Swift Current has always been our banner show. We've done that for 10 years. And it was something that was needed in the southwestern part of Saskatchewan. And we started out as a small 20 booth exhibitor show that was based just on our feed store in Swift Current back 10 years ago. The show eventually grew to be over 106 exhibits. Once again, we raised a lot of money for charity over the last 9 years, in the neighborhood of $150,000 went to local charities. As far as what we do now, we are an event management company, and we do our own shows as well as shows for other businesses or groups that can't manage their own shows.
You're involved with a feed company as well.
I recently sold my feed company, so this is the direction we're taking. We enjoyed doing the show in Swift Current, getting involved with the community, and we're looking for other opportunities, and we've actually been approached to start a show in Great Falls, Montana next spring. So we've done a good job in the past, and I think we're going to do I know we're going to do a good job in Manitoba and future ventures.
What's your the feeling about now? You know, we talked a couple of weeks ago, and we've been visiting back and forth. Farm Fest Manitoba, is it a total reality in your opinion?
If you would have asked me that last week, I would have questioned myself, but absolutely the response that we've got after traveling out of Manitoba for just 1 week, we've had a lot of interest. Like I said, the initial big interest is coming from the manufacturing groups in Manitoba, and as we attend more shows in Manitoba and get the word out, I know that we're going to have a positive outlook and a positive response from the ag industry in Manitoba.
I have been involved with farmers and agriculture for 47 years as a journalist and an advocate. I've also spent 10 years before that farming. And so, I'm excited about something like this coming to Manitoba. And you know what? You and I connected when I was on my way to Farm Fest Minnesota, where they've had a farm show for a number of years already, since 1996, 97, I believe. And it started out small. Today, when I was there near Wilmer, Minnesota, out in the farmer's field, guess what? They've got permanent buildings. Instead of farmers or companies coming to set up tents and pull them down and put them up again, they're building permanent buildings so that they can come back. That show is there to stay. And I'm absolutely hoping that those are the kinds of things we're going to see from Farm Fest Manitoba.
Well, we certainly hope so. We've chosen the venue as the Red River X Ground for simple reason that we thought at one point having it out in agriculture land, around Eli or something would have been our best venue. But with the summers in Manitoba, we wanted to make sure that if we got an inch of rain, we'd still be in business. So our venue at the Red River X grounds, we've got about 110 acres of asphalt and parking lots to utilize as well. We have the added benefit of having the approximately 140 acres of farmland adjacent to the Red River X grounds, so we've got the best of both worlds. If we happen to get an inch of rain, we're back in business when the rain stops, and it might not be so great in the field, but in the exhibit areas, we'll still be fully functional.
Tell me a little bit more about that relationship that you now have with the Red River exhibition.
Well, I guess when we looked at the big picture, we wanted to make sure that we got involved in a location that would be suitable for a large crowd. We needed to make sure we had enough hotels for our exhibitors as well as visitors coming in from out of town. And with the infrastructure that the Red River X grounds has, it was a perfect fit. And they're excited to be working with us, and we're as excited to be working with them. And they've got a long history in Manitoba agriculture and a great nonprofit group.
How about, are you getting the farm commodity group associations involved? I know they have various places where they do have things already, but I would see this as a real good fit.
Well, certainly the more of these marketing groups and commodity groups that we talk to, the more we learn and listen to what they want to see at a show and get out of it. It all comes at a cost, and the exposure is what they're after, and we're going to do our best to make sure that we meet the needs of the people there as exhibitors as well as the visitors. And part of that whole marketing campaign will be, I'm guessing, in excess of 5,000 day passes being given out to the exhibitors to give to their customers, and we will be running promos to fill the gate and make sure that it's cost effective for the exhibitors, and there's an incentive to visit the show for the producers.
Tell me a little bit more about the logistics of that, exactly that, how you will get the farmers to come in and to participate and so forth.
Well, I guess anything you do, you have to market it, and we're going to concentrate a lot of effort on the marketing of the show, whether it's digital media or in print. Building relationships and networking with your exhibitors is the key, and making sure that we have some pull-through for their clientele to want to come to Winnipeg and experience the farm show. And, it's all going to be about ag education and making it a business center for the producers as well as the vendors that will attend and be exhibitors. It's like you said, it's not just a farm show. It's not just a big get-together. It will be focused on ag business.
So when we look at this entire picture, you know, obviously it's your company, you and your wife, but I see this as something that that can go far beyond that, and I guess you know you got to crawl, you got to walk, and hopefully down in that third year you'll be running.
Certainly, we always look down the road, and we're excited about year one, and we believe that we're gonna have a good attendance from the ag sector as far as the exhibitors, and now we just got to drive the attendance of the producer by adding value to a farm show, not just another farm show, but Farm Fest Manitoba, and make it one of the diamonds in the rough in Manitoba, and have people want to be there and be part of it.
When you look at the entire situation, the geographical location, the sponsors, and so forth, what is one thing that sticks out in your mind that that I know you had a catchphrase there before, but something that sticks in your mind that really is making Doug and Kelly Cramer want to do this?
Well, we're both from Manitoba. We both have roots in Manitoba. I just strongly believe that when you're standing at the Red River X grounds, looking around, traveling around the area, you're in the heart of the most diverse agriculture area in Canada, as far as I'm concerned. And everywhere you look from the venue, you see inland grain terminals, and you see farmland and dairy farms, and it's just something worth getting excited about. And there's a lot of people getting excited about it with us, and we just hope we can meet the expectations.
When just recently I tapped into a group called Farm Life in the United States, and the president of it, so to speak, Brannon Deal, is from southern Georgia. He picks cotton, and they have soybeans and so forth. And so when we first connected, and I started to talk about Manitoba, he honestly told me that in a little bit of a cliche, obviously, but he thought wheat and igloos. You know, like I mean, here's a guy way down in southern. You know, they have no idea, and that's where we come in with the farm show as well. We want to be able to tell this story not just here, but other places, because we need to tell. You know, and that's been my biggest goal in getting on social media and together with that Farm Life group, because we need to keep telling people that that a farmer in Canada, a farmer in North Dakota, in southern Georgia, we are 1.5% of everything that is produced in the world, and we need to stick together.
Certainly. I understand what you're saying here. I know that just from my recent travels in Manitoba, I see what's going on in the potato industry and the pulse industry and the expansion that's going on there, and I'm quite impressed.
I know that you're originally from Carmen, Manitoba, and which is probably where the corn industry, you know, really took hold a number of years ago. But I'm sure when you talk to some of your friends and stuff, you know, like when they grow corn, and if they don't get 175 bushels an acre, they're disappointed. And I can remember when 80 was average and 100 was a bumper crop.
Certainly, things have changed. I see a lot of irrigation in the Carmen area, and the landscape's changing, and certainly becoming more diverse.
Tell me, as we get to the end of this program, we got a couple of minutes left, Doug. Give me your own personal philosophy of being there with farmers and working for farmers and promoting the whole farm aspect of it.
Well, I guess we've kind of touched on a little bit of everything today, Harry. I guess the big goal for us is to get the community involved, get the producers involved, as well as the industry that stands behind the producers, include community involvement and some charitable, non-charitable organizations. Once again, it's all about community, and I think that we've picked a great venue, and we're getting a lot of support from the ag sector, and we're getting real excited about getting the show developed to what we think it's going to be, and have a great turnout in July.
Well, you know, it's exciting when you first mentioned to me that we would that we would talk more about this show, and I was on my way to Minnesota to do that, cover that show. I was excited because I had the chance of being inside the big stage show, the noon stage show, and and it was exciting to see it full. Another farm broadcaster was doing his live farm shows from there. I helped them MC some of that, and I hope some of those kinds of things, we can do together. And who knows where all of this goes to.
Look forward to working with you, Harry.
Thank you very much. Today we've been visiting with Doug Cramer and talking about Farm Fest Manitoba, which is going to be happening in July of 2019. Give me the exact dates once more, Doug.
July 9th through the 11th at the Red River X Grounds in Winnipeg.
And one last time, where can they start? Do you have a website? Will you be able to get at it?
Cramer Event Management is our website. We're on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Thanks again. That's Doug Cramer of Regina, Saskatchewan with the Farm Fest Manitoba. This is Harry Siemens for The Farm Show and SiemensSays.com.